Let us start with what is dividend. The profits which are earned by the company can be distributed to its owners, that is the shareholders, in the form of dividends. Now, how do we know about the dividend policy of the company? Let us analyze Coal India Limited. Now, it is a kind of company that does not require to grow in the future or does not require to incur marketing or branding expenditures. So, we can say that it is certain that company is not expecting to see a major increase in its expenditures. Company has monopoly in mining and is expecting no new entrants or huge competition in the near future. Nor the profits or revenues are expected to rise very substantially. Now in this scenario, company can pay profits as dividends to shareholders. Such stable companies prefer to give higher dividend yields. Coal India is providing a dividend yield of more than 5% every year. Now let us check a company which is in its growing stage, that is Info Edge India Limited. The dividend yield of Info Edge is 0.33%. It hardly pays any dividend. This company also earns profit but do not distribute it as dividend. Company runs websites like Naukri.com, 99acres.com, Jeevansathi.com who have huge competition, and thus it needs to continuously spend money for advertising, marketing and branding. It prefers to invest money for expansion. Like recently they have invested in Zomato, Policy Bazaar. If company would have distributed its surplus as dividend, then it would not have had enough money to invest and expand. So we can conclude that usually when a company is paying off huge dividends, that means management has no other better opportunity for that money. There are certain exceptions to this rule. First of all, there are certain businesses that do not need incremental capital to grow. So they can manage to grow as well as pay high dividends simultaneously. Now, this company will be a really nice pick. Secondly, it may also be possible that company has growth opportunity, but returns are low, like investing in a project that would give just 7 to 8% to shareholders. In this scenario also, companies would prefer to distribute dividend as shareholders themselves can earn a nominal return by investing in FDs. Thus, this is how the dividend policy of a company is decided. Now, another important question. Should we invest in a company by checking their dividend yield? There is no clear yes or no, but usually a company with high dividend yield could not provide you with huge capital appreciation. Like in case of Coal India Limited, let us see the price chart. Forget about the prices increasing, the prices have instead fallen down. And the same is the case with major dividend paying stocks. But it is considered that a government company which is paying high dividend and is relatively stable and has huge cash reserves can be a good investment option in case of market panics, because at that time the shares will be available at great valuations. Now let us move on to the concept of stock split. Stock split simply means that company takes 100 rupee note from you and gives back 250 rupee notes. Now, will this cause any change in your wealth? The answer is no. Will it increase the number of notes? The answer is you will now have 250 rupees notes instead of 100 rupee note. Let us see this corporate action in Tata Consultancy Services Limited. TCS did a share split in the year 2004 where the old face value of rupees 10 was split in 10 shares of rupees 1. Let us understand with an example of a company splitting its shares into two. As soon as the corporate action is performed, the face value of the shares will be halved from 10 to 2 and the number of shares will be doubled from 100 to 200. The amount of share capital will remain same and total reserves will also remain same. The shareholders fund hence remains same. To conclude, even though your number of shares is doubled from 100 to 200, their value must have halved, causing no absolute change in your wealth. So why do companies split their share? Now suppose you have a share of rupees 10 and you urgently need rupees 2. Now you will have to sell off your whole investment as you cannot trade in fractions. But if company has 10 shares of rupees 1, then you can easily sell 2 shares just as per your requirement. Thus, it provides both liquidity and flexibility. Now, let's move on to bonus share. So here is a company having face value of rupees 10 which has issued bonus share in the ratio 1:1. Now we have read that the shareholders fund belong to the owners, that is the shareholders of the company. So one thing we should keep in mind that total shareholders fund remained the same before and after the bonus issue. Now when the company issues bonus shares, the number of shares is doubled from 100 to 200, and hence the share capital is doubled from 1000 crores to 2000 crores. Since bonus is issued out of total reserves, it is half, keeping the shareholders' fund same. And despite the fact that you are receiving bonus shares, your wealth remains constant. Now, moving on to the right issue. We know what is the short term movement of market price due to right issue. Now, let us analyze the impact on our wealth. So, here is a company which is offering the right to buy two shares for every one share held for rupees 60. 50 is the premium and 10 is the face value. So, the right issue price is rupees 60 and the market price of the share is at rupees 150. Now, before and after the right issue, the net profit of the company will remain same. But since the number of shares will be increased from 100 to 300, the amount of EPS is reduced from rupees 3 per share to rupees 1 per share. Now let us dig deeper. Say for example, you had 20 shares of this company. Now before the right issue, your earning per share was rupees 3 and hence your total earning from the company was rupees 60. Your holding was valued at 3150 into 20, right? Now, right issues are option to the shareholders to apply for more shares. So suppose if you exercise your right and you apply for the right shares, then you need to invest additional 2400 rupees. That is 40 shares into 60 rupees each, which brings the value of your total holdings at rupees 5400. But since your EPS was rupees 1, so despite the fact that your number of shares increased from 20 to 60, your total earnings from the company would remain constant at rupees 60. It was 60 before the right issue and it is 60 after the right issue. So do not forget that your investment amount has increased from 3000 to 5400 without any subsequent increase in your earnings. And suppose if you do not apply for the right, the value of your earnings will fall from 60 to rupees 20. Thus, we can say that right issue is also not as lucrative as it seems.